Yo, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Daniel and today we have a very special unboxing. Now, if you daily drive your vehicle, you might want to protect yourself with a dash cam. I currently have a dash cam that is well over a decade old, and I honestly got this dash cam off Amazon for around $50 more or less. It's not the best dash cam out there, but it's the best bang for your buck. But leveling up the dash cam game, the team over at Blackvue sent over their latest and greatest dash cam, and that is the DR970X-2CH+. Now, I'm not sure how come it's named the way it is, but it's very long, and it could have been just like a name like Venom or Blackhawk or something. But nonetheless, thank you and huge shout out to the team over at Blackvue once again. Now, going into the unboxing experience, when I first received the dash cam, I received two boxes, one for the dash cam front and the back, and the other for the Blackvue cloud. Opening up the main attraction, the dash cam itself, upon opening it, you are greeted with two dash cams, one for the front and one for the rear. Looking at the front dash cam, you have a very sleek and cylindrical design with no LCD display. On the side, you have a manual touch button where you could manually record, and on the other hand, you have your other standard ports such as the USB, DC in, rear connecting port for the rear dash cam camera, and also of course the format button. In a secret door compartment, while you open it, you will have access to the micro SD slot. Moving on to the rear dash cam, you have a very similar design that only hosts 1080p high definition video compared to the 4K one in the front. You don't get many ports on this rear dash cam. You only get the cable in for the connecting cable that comes from the front dash cam, and on the side you have a LED marker. Looking at some of the things that come with this box, you have of course the instruction manual itself, where it has many successful infographics where you could just follow along, followed by of course the cigarette cable lighter input, where you could input into any cigarette lighters in most vehicles. Aside from that, if you do not want to use the cigarette lighter port, you could use the hardwire option, which is useful when your car is parked and when your camera senses any danger of any sort. Moving along to the latter half of the components, of course it comes with a long cable that connects the front camera to the back camera, and aside from that, you provide a nice plastic prying tool and a lot of extra 3M adhesive for you to keep your install clean. Now, with the unboxing out of the way, let's get into the install and see what this is about. Okay, so we are here at the BMW E46 interior cabinet. Now, I'm gonna definitely try and get this install done before I am a roast pig, but it is fairly hot here in Toronto right now. I think it's still 30 plus degrees. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to clean up the windshield area to make sure that it's nice and clean for the application of my front dash cam camera. And then I'm gonna run the wires along the side and hopefully get this fired up. Stay tuned. All right, here we are. So we have the dash cam mounted. Now I ran the wires through up here to the headliner, onto the side of the pillar, all the way down into the glove box. Now I have one of these adapters where I could plug into the cigarette port, so it's definitely convenient, but I have a lot of access cable left. I just zip tied it for now and I just tucked it away, so it's relatively clean. The camera is prompting me for an SD card, so I'm gonna satisfy his hunger and test it out. All right, it's freaking hot here. Like I said, I'm sweating like a pig. But I'm gonna see how this dash cam records, and if it records any good footage. I'm just going to do a quick drive around, and we'll see how this thing records in the daylight. I haven't got the back hooked up yet. I am super excited to get that hooked up. I just want to test out this dash cam so badly. Like, I'm such a huge fan of the Blackvue, and I want to see how it runs. Okay, all right, I think I've got enough. Gonna head back to home base. See you in a bit. Okay, so it's currently the next day, and get this, I finally got the Blackvue camera to work. I don't know what happened before, but I was trying to connect the Blackvue camera to the Blackvue app. I couldn't get it, even though I did a manual connection via Wi-Fi. It just didn't work. Long story short, it was a corrupted micro SD card. So lesson of the day, check all the contents in the box, because when I was kind of going through the Blackvue box to look for any troubleshooting guides,
they actually provide you with a 64 gigabyte micro SD card. So once I got that installed, everything was working perfectly. It seamlessly paired with the app, and this is pretty amazing now. It's working 110%, and I even got the rear view dash cam hooked up to the front as well. Let me show you how it looks like. Okay, so finally got the rear view dash camera. I want to show you guys how it's set up. So of course, this is the power cable. It goes from here all the way to the top, all the way around. This is the rear dash cam cable. I ran it through the top headliner all the way to the A pillar, across the, I guess like weather seals, B, and then C, and then there is the rear view dash camera. Now, the lines for the connection cable to the rear dash cam, it's like 15 feet. It's super long. What I had to do is I had to pull out the rear pillar and put all the lines in there, close it up, and then hook it up, because it definitely could run laps around the sedan, and it was just a really long wire. So I'm gonna go for a drive, and let's take a look at how the quality of the footage is. Let's get it.
Yo, welcome back to the studio. So I spent some time driving and collecting footage, and it's safe to say this camera rocks. Now diving straight into it, starting off with the front camera, we have a very crystal clear image of course, my surroundings. I can clearly see a wide view of what's going on in front of the car, and the quality speaks for itself. Every single detail was very laid out, and I can even read certain license plates during motion. Of course, this is something that is very important when you are trying to do defensive driving. You definitely want to capture every single detail of the car in front of you, just in case, knock on wood, an accident happens. Now, of course, the video quality itself is a little bit grainy to my liking. Not sure if it's because the settings that I'm currently using, or a setting that I have to change, or maybe it's just how 4K UHD is. Moving back to the rear dash cam, it isn't as impressive as the front. Obviously, it's smaller in size and it's not packed with the technology that the front one has. But nonetheless, it still has a lot of good details in the video. It's a bit hard to read when it comes to license plates in motion, but you can still see what the car brand is and of course what's going on around you. The night videos are pretty good as well. For the front, I can clearly see of course all my surroundings and certain license plates depending on the lighting situation. Honestly, you can't really expect too much during nighttime, especially when these cameras aren't equipped with night vision. Maybe down along the line there are cameras that have that capability, but not this model. Now of course, the rear does drop in performance a little bit due to the fact that of course, like I said, it's not as impactful as the front. It's still nonetheless a good quality image, and I do feel that it could be improved later down the line. Now moving on to the overall behavior on how to retrieve the footage. Now getting these videos was, to my opinion, very intuitive. I seamlessly connected to the dash cam's Wi-Fi, and I had a choice of downloading a low quality or high quality video. Definitely beats the old days of taking out the SD card, plugging into a USB and plugging into your computer. But of course, you still have the option of doing that if you are into that. Now the app itself is fairly easy to use. At times I feel like it's a little buggy and a little bit slow and a little clunky. Of course, when I mean it's a little clunky, it's a little bit slow in terms of UI UX design or UI UX responsiveness. Maybe in this day and age, we are all just so used to seamless and smooth design when it comes to apps. I feel like this app is a little bit buggy, and it always kind of prompts me to connect to the dashcam Wi-Fi, and it lags a little bit in my opinion. I am, however, having trouble with the time zone on my videos. No matter which time zone I choose, I can't seem to get the right time to show on my dashcam videos. I'm not sure why, but if you guys have any ideas or clues, please leave a comment down below. And finally, capping off this unboxing and Blackvue experience, I opted out of the Blackvue cloud box. Now, Blackvue has also provided me with a box that allows me to connect the camera to the unit, and doing so, it uploads the footage to the cloud automatically. Having your footage in this box shoots over up to the cloud so that you could take a look at it on your phone. Now, of course, there are many advantages to this service. You can access your live footage anytime via phone, anywhere you are, depending on your cellular service. You could download footage straight to your phone from the cloud, and you can access it anytime. And of course, you can access a live view of what's going on in your car anywhere, anytime you want. This kind of reminds me of Tesla's Sentry mode, but Obviously, this is a service that you have to pay for monthly, and I, for one, am opting out of that. But essentially, if you want to install this box on your car, you have to, of course, attach the camera onto the box and have the box be attached to your windscreen or in your glove box. I, for one, is trying to keep things to a minimum when it comes to attaching things to my windshield, and it's just a little bit too crowded for me. One thing to note, the camera is very sensitive to events occurring. During the footage capture, it usually just shows the date and time, but sometimes for some odd reason, it shows a drive impact in red. And I'm not sure if it's because my car is making loud noises or maybe some rubbing noises, but it gets triggered very easily. So there you have it, guys. This was the Blackvue dash cam review. Overall, I love this design of the camera. It's sleek, minimalistic, and of course, it has a very simple approach. And of course, it blends in with my interior very well. Not to mention the power it packs is next to none. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this product and if you are planning on picking one up. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me a lot in the long run. But until then, see you next time.